Nintendo Entertainment System, also known as Famicom, is one of the most beloved platforms of many gamers all over the world. It gave us a large library of amazing games. For example, we got gems like Super Mario Bros., Legend of Zelda, Metroid, and Punch-Out from the Big N itself. And since this new system managed to become quite a hit, a lot of third-party developers wanted in on this train of glory, and among them was Capcom. While Capcom have already produced NES ports of their arcade games, they still wanted a flagship franchise specifically for the system. To that end, they assembled a team of 6 people, and 2 of them were Akira Kitamura and Keiji Inafune. And together, they created Rockman, or as we know him in the West, Mega Man. Right, okay, let's get this out of the way first. Yes, this cover is in fact atrocious, and its existence should be considered a crime against humanity. The manual is not devoid of problems too. It's Mega Man versus the powerful leaders and fighting forces of Monsteropolis? What the hell is Monsteropolis? That part is definitely not in the game. There are also other mistakes in it, but overall story summary is mostly accurate at least. 2 brilliant scientists, Dr. Thomas Light and Dr. Albert Wiley, have created 8 prototype humanoid robots that serve different functions. Wiley gets fed up with Light getting all the attention, steals 6 of them, and tries to take over the world. You know, like any sensible adult would do. One of the remaining robots, lab assistant named Rock, volunteers himself to be converted into a fighting robot in order to stop Wiley, and that is how Mega Man was born. You never learn any of that in the game itself though. As soon as you boot up the game, you are shown the title screen that politely asks you to press start. When you oblige, you are taken to stage select where you can choose one of the 6 stages. Once the choice is made, the gameplay starts, and you quickly find out that the game is old school platform in action at its finest. You can jump, you can shoot, you can jump and shoot, but only horizontally, not diagonally or vertically for whatever reason. Since you can shoot, that means there are things that you need to shoot at, and indeed there are plenty. You have these small jumping things, you have bullet bills, you have these annoying flying things, you have these guys, you have these adorable things, you have these goddamn things, and at the end of each stage, you fight a boss. Every boss in the game follows a set pattern of behavior. For example, Bombman here always tries to move away from you and will not attack until he got some distance. Cutman will always jump over you if you are getting close, etc, etc. Although some patterns can be hard to understand at first, and bosses deal considerable damage, as long as you observe the boss's behavior, you're going to win eventually, and once you do, the main gimmick of the game comes into play. Whenever you defeat any of the 6 bosses, you gain their weapons. Every enemy in the game is weak to some weapon. For example, Rolling Cutter can destroy these otherwise invincible enemies. Ice Slasher can freeze enemies in place, allowing you to walk past them with no resistance. Firestorm creates a momentary shield that protects you from personal space invaders. And Hyper Bomb kind of sucks. The best part is that weapon-specific weaknesses also affect the bosses. Each boss is weak to a weapon from another boss, creating a chain that forms an optimal route for the game. Figuring out which boss is weak to what weapon is also a big part of the fun, especially since boss weaknesses logically make sense, so when you correctly figure out a boss's weakness, you feel a little bit smarter. Look at Iceman. He knows Elecman's going to ruin his day eventually. Once you defeat all of the 6 bosses, you go after Dr. Wily himself. Here, you have to go through 4 consecutive stages that bring back several stage gimmicks from the main 6 stages, and even have you fight the previously defeated bosses again at several points. Wily stages also feature their own bosses, with highlight no doubt being the Yellow Devil. If you heard of Mega Man before, you probably know how bad Yellow Devil is. You hate it. I hate it. Your grandmother, who never played video games in her life, probably hates it too. And while it isn't particularly hard to fight once you learn its pattern, it's still incredibly annoying since you have to dodge the same pattern over and over and over until it's dead. And that just goes on forever, even if you have the energy for the weapon it's weak to. And sometimes, it just spawns its eye where your default weapon cannot reach it, and that just pisses me off. Or you could just use the pause glitch. Excuse me. Other than the Yellow Devil, there aren't that many annoying things in the game, although this boss can go screw itself, and the difficulty is pretty evenly balanced between the stages, with some exceptions. Like these platforms in Gutsman's stage that should subtly teach you how to avoid getting stunned by Gutsman's jumps, but are instead positioned over a bottomless pit, making any sort of mistake here fatal. A lot of people who play this game also hate these disappearing blocks in Iceman's stage. But that's just pattern recognition. No, the actual problem are these things. This, my friends, is a footholder. They move in a loose pattern over a bottomless pit, and you have to jump from one footholder to the next to cross it. The problem is, they sometimes stay too far away from each other for a stupidly long time, preventing you from moving on quickly and forcing you to wait. They also have cannons on their side that periodically shoot bullets that can knock you off if you're not careful. Sometimes the last one hovers near the bottom of a screen like this for no reason other than to be an asshole, and sometimes this happens. Overall, the game can be pretty hard for newcomers since a lot of its difficulty relies on learning the stages and enemy placement. It also features classic old-school game design staples like knockback, instant death spice, and gratuitous bottomless pits. There are places where these elements even come together to set you up for failure, like this part in Wily Stage 2 where you can get easily knocked down the pit if you don't know how to deal with these enemies yet. The main 6 bosses mostly have easily discernible patterns, but they deal considerable damage, so it's easy to die to a boss simply because you didn't figure out how they work yet. That especially goes for Electman, whose main attack can kill you in just 3 shots. Adding to the difficulty is the fact that you have a limited amount of extra lives, so if you die too many times, off to the game over screen you go. Thankfully, the game has infinite continue, so you can retry a stage until you eventually beat it, or decide to try another stage. Or get fed up with dying all the time and decide to stop playing altogether. The game, by the way, does not feature any kind of password system, which means that if you turn off the game before completing your playthrough, you will lose all your progress and have to start from scratch, which can easily turn some players away. The game also has some minor oddities. For example, when you are on a ladder, opening the weapons menu or pausing the game via the select button will make Mega Man let go of said ladder, making you drop down. It might not seem like that much of a problem, but it may screw you over if you are hanging over spikes or a bottomless pit. Mega Man also has some weird momentum going on that's specific to this game. When you press a direction on a D-pad, Mega Man needs a bit of time to start running, and when you let go, it also takes him a bit to stop, which can lead to deaths because Mega Man failed to stop before falling into a pit. Another serious problem that I have with the game is this part in Wily Stage 1. Once you reach this point, you may find that you have no way of moving forward. There are no secret passages, and you obviously cannot jump high enough. What you actually need to do is to get this thing, the Magnet Beam utility that allows you to create temporary platforms to stand on. The problem is, the player might not know what this thing is, and not even have any means to get it, as it requires either Super Arm you get from Gutsman or Thunder Beam you get from Electman, which you obviously will not have on the first visit to this stage. And after you have both, it's possible that you have already forgotten about this thing and moved on without it. This creates the situation where the player reaches this part of Wily Stage 1 without the Magnet Beam, figures that there is no way to proceed, spends all the extra lives on killing themselves repeatedly to return to stage select, then they have to go for Electman stage again to get the Magnet Beam, defeat Electman again, and only then they can return to Wily Stage 1 and beat it properly. Oh, and there's Yellow Devil right after this part, so yeah, have fun kids! Thankfully, Magnet Beam is useful in other places as well, so you won't feel like you have to get it just for this part. Yeah, screw you, footholders! Aside from these hiccups though, the game feels amazing, and I highly recommend it to fans of 2D platformers, retro or otherwise. It's fun to go through the stages, it's fun to fight enemies and bosses, for the most part, and the music is awesome too. The composer Manami Matsumae did a great job setting the mood for each stage. Just listen to a few tunes for yourself. I discovered this game almost by accident back when I was 8 or 9 years old, and I fell in love with it. And it seems like I wasn't the only one. Both critics and gamers appear to like this game a lot. So with such an amazing game, you'd think you have a successful start to a franchise, right? Well, unfortunately the game did not do very well due to poor marketing in the West. Inafune himself cited the god-awful cover art as another reason. In the end, Mega Man did not sell enough copies to justify a sequel, and Capcom higher-ups decided to forget about it and move on to something new. I think we all know how that turned out. Hello there, dear viewers, and thank you for watching my shoddy first attempt at a video game review. If you liked what you saw, press the like button and subscribe because more stuff is on the way. Keep on rocking, and I'll see you next time.